The discovery of my genetic mutation and honestly my abnormal screening findings really just gave me a bigger appreciation for life. My daughter at the time was, just barely 1 year old, and gosh, I really wanted to be around for her, and I'm building this business and I really want it to thrive, and so what would happen if I wasn't here? And it just really put everything in perspective.
Oh my goodness.
I honestly did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I ended up going to University of South Dakota for track and field, and in order to play D1 sports I had to have a declared major. So my coach ended up deciding that I was going to go into health sciences, and I didn't really know what that meant. So their first semester they would just bring in different medical providers in all the different realms of medicine, and one of those happened to be a physician assistant, and I just fell in love. When you go to school, medical school, you're learn just about diseases and how to treat diseases once they're already affecting somebody. And so basically my entire career in medicine was just someone coming in already having a problem and I was trying to fix it. I knew that healthcare could be better for people, and I knew that we could educate people better and sit down with them for a little bit longer and really give them their options and look at their history and try and predict the future. But then once we knew what that future might hold for them, really prevent it from even happening. So when I turned 34, I had an abnormal mammogram. I elected to have some genetic testing done. The genetic testing came back positive for an ATM mutation, which increases my risk of developing breast cancer. Now I have this abnormal screening, and so the likelihood of it being cancer is obviously a lot higher. So I elected to have a bilateral mastectomy and then reconstructive surgery. Because of that genetic testing being positive, I was confident in that decision. Regardless of what the outcome of that nodule or lesion was, chances are I would still be affected with breast cancer at some point in my life. So that genetic testing really empowered me to make a very, very difficult decision. But without it, I may have underwent more biopsies and more surgeries and maybe cancer more than once, just like my mom. When I was really looking into genetic testing after I had my own, I was like, man, this, no one really offered this to me. I kind of was the one who reached out myself, like this must be really hard to get, insurance must not cover it. And so when I really started looking into it, I was actually very excited because it's so available to people and honestly fairly inexpensive too. And it's not just genetic testing for mutations that may cause cancer. It's genetics that, why is my hair falling out? Why do I have a male pattern baldness? What genes are off that make that happen? Or, why do I have PCOS? Why do I have, elevated liver proteins on my labs all the time? Like just certain little tiny things, there's a panel for it. The genetic testing isn't necessarily gonna say you have X diagnosis, but it's going to tell you what genes are off. Maybe we don't have an answer for that yet. Maybe we don't have an answer for that autoimmune thing, or why you're going bald, or whatever the thing is. But now we have your genes and we know exactly what molecule that is, and we can look in those genomics and determine, okay, what supplements can fix this? If these genes aren't working, what's a workaround? How can we make this better for you specifically? So it was really exciting on all the different things that you can really learn from your genetics, and you can dive so far into them that, it's super empowering for people. And the options, it's not like, well, your genes are off, there's nothing we can do. It's like, well, your genes are off, but this is what we can do for it. And so very exciting to be able to bring that to Cody, Wyoming. A lot of times when you're doing genetic testing, it's more to just see what's going on internally that you may not know otherwise. A lot of things that happen to us, we don't see coming, and they hit us like a ton of bricks. So it's a way to really understand your health on a personal level and make it specific to you so there aren't any scares down the road or anything that just comes out of nowhere. Obviously here at TrueBody, we do a free initial consultation, so you can come in and just ask me some questions and just decide is this the right next step for you? And if it is, what genetic panel we should do based on your concerns. And based on that, you get to decide. And if it's something you want to do, all the genetic tests are a little bit different. Most of them are just a cheek swab, so we can do it right in office. Some of them are a finger prick test, and some of them are a blood draw. So depending on which genetic test you would need, we kind of explain what that would look like. Regardless of the test, most results are back within a month, and then we would go over them together and create a customized plan for you. Really, the initial step is just coming in to talk about it.